Welcome back. You're tuning into Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. We're going to talk today about being physically fit rather than financially fit, but we hope you're both. So they're both very important. We have two CrossFit gym owners here in the studio with us today, one from Kent Covington area and the other the east side. And first of all, we're going to be talking with Jake Fields. Jake has been the owner of CrossFit Devotion in Covington since 2010. He comes from humble beginnings, starting his own CrossFit gym in his garage. With a handful of devoted members, he moved to his first space and shortly after outgrew that. Then he found a new home for his gym on 10 acres in Covington. Jake has always known he wanted to help people with health and fitness and truly found his calling in life. Now sitting at over 280 members, he is well on his way to making an impact in the South Sound. And we also have Rob Sachs in studio. Rob was born and raised in Portland, Maine. He led an active childhood and adolescence, played sports all his life, and moved out here after receiving his bachelor's degree in exercise science from Springfield College in Western Massachusetts. He got into CrossFit in 2010 and opened his first gym and CrossFit Amped in 2011, and now owns 3 locations in the Puget Sound. So welcome, Jake and Rob.
Thank you.
Welcome, guys. Well, we know Jake personally from CrossFit Devotion. That's our home gym.
Yes, it is.
Yep. So, how did you guys come to meet?
Well, from what I remember, we met in our very first regionals appearance, 2013. And basically, from what I remember, we loved each other from the start.
Fast friends.
It was a match made in heaven, definitely.
A match made in heaven, yeah. And
for a moment, and then when we started competing against each other, it immediately changed.
Yeah.
And then you fell back in love when the competition was over.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it was fun. We competed together for a couple years in regionals, trained together a lot. He's a good training buddy. Just stayed connected ever since. And really just our relationship's gone from like, do you want to work out together to like, how do we grow empires together? So it's been a cool experience to hang out with a like-minded person.
That's great. So you had said, Rob, I just have a quick question. You have 3 gyms, CrossFit Amped. What are they all CrossFit Amped? Oh, they are. Okay.
Yep.
Where are they at?
We've got one in Bellevue, which is the location of the very first one that I opened up in 2011. And we've expanded to, the second gym was Shoreline, which is on 156th. And then in Seattle, downtown in Capitol Hill is our most recent. And we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary this past summer. So that was a really great opportunity and definitely a great addition to our gym culture.
Yeah, that's like some really different demographics.
I know.
Right? Very much so. All of the gyms, they have their similarities, but because of their demographic, because of their location, they function incredibly differently.
So, Rob, you in your bio, you said you were always active and did sports. How did you actually get into CrossFit?
When I moved out here, I was actually a trainer at the Washington Athletic Club. And one of the first friends who I met, not knowing anybody out here, he was a trainer also, and he was doing CrossFit at the time. And this was around 2009, 2010, when CrossFit was just getting big. And I was a typical kind of gym jock that would pump weights and do bicep curls and all that kind of stuff that I kind of snicker at now. Mm-hmm. And he kept poking at me saying, you got to try this thing called CrossFit. And he would explain it to me. And in my head, I was kind of thinking, I don't know, 10-minute workout, 15-minute workout. I don't know if that's really going to be for me. I'm used to spending over an hour and a half in the gym. And when I got bored with what I was doing, I finally just succumbed to all of his temptation and said, all right, well, I'll come and give this a shot. And I'll never forget that first workout. I'll never forget that day. I mean, it crushed me. And then
Did you think 10 minutes could never be this hard?
Oh, it definitely wasn't 10 minutes. It took me a lot longer than that. And then afterwards, he told me that I was doing it with a women's weight that they would typically have women do.
Nice.
And he's telling this to me as I'm, on my back and the room is spinning, and I feel great, but I was completely humbled. And from that day forward, it was the only thing that I did. I would jog to the gym he took me to, which was a mile away from my house, and I would train there. And I took it to my clients and started learning more about it. My clients at the Washington Athletic Club, I started giving it to them. And when I saw the changes that was happening in me and then in them, just kind of woke me up and turned that light bulb on in my head. And I said, wow, this stuff is a lot different than anything that I had ever done before. And when I got into the culture and really embedded myself into the philosophy behind it, the science behind, not only what they're doing, but why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then even going deeper and meeting people who, like Jake said, are like-minded, meeting people like Jake and really smart people in the same community. That was when things really opened up for me.
Awesome. Jake, what about you? How was your experience getting into CrossFit? How did you find it?
My experience was I lived about half a mile away from a gym, and I was playing basketball every Saturday morning with some guys, and they would skip sometimes, and I was like, why are you guys not here? This is like our thing. And they're like, oh, we're doing this CrossFit thing. And I was like, that's cool, but it's not as cool as Saturday morning basketball, so don't miss. And then eventually I just decided to go with them one day, and I wasn't really working out that much at the time, and I was a personal trainer at another athletic club, and I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. And it was fun. The community was good. It was with a bunch of my friends, and so I was just hooked ever since.
Was that a traditional gym, or were you like just in someone's garage, or where were you?
Yeah, I was actually at a
CrossFit gym.
CrossFit gym. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. So what, can you guys tell us a little bit about like, how CrossFit gyms used to be? There's kind of this like stigma about, a CrossFit gym, it's dirty, there's like tires and, but there's actually other stuff and they've come a long way. So can you touch on like the growth of where they were and where they are now?
Yeah, I would say even in the garage when we started, you didn't really do CrossFit unless your hands weren't bleeding and you weren't like doing like just multiple workouts, and that's just burned into my head. Like if your hands weren't bleeding and you didn't have an injury, like it wasn't CrossFit in my opinion. And so that was like, and it was just dirty. Like you could do CrossFit anywhere. That was the whole thing, right? Anywhere, anything functional. You could do it in a park.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, fast forward, it's like if your gym doesn't look like Pinterest, they'll go down the road to a new gym.
Right.
And so there's a huge swing in there, obviously. And it's all about like programming and community and events on the weekends. And it's like a church culture or like a cult or like something like that, where it's like it's all inclusive now. There's so much a part of it. It's not just come in, work out, and leave. It's like honestly, like 99% of my friends are in the gym. Like
more of a lifestyle,
it's
right?
crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Like you hang out with those people, you love on them, you have dinner with them. It's everything. And
a little less blood too, right?
A little less blood, a lot less blood. We actually like teach people how to like do fitness forever instead of just come like get punched in the face every day, which that's kind of how I thought it was. Like come in, hit Fran, come in tomorrow, hit Fran again, come in tomorrow. And it's just like, it's evolved into like more training and not just a lot of like, I don't know, getting punched in the face.
And just for those of you who don't know, Fran is a workout.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Fran.
Not a person.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if Rob has anything else to add on before and after, but
I think that there's way more of what Jake is talking about going on now than there used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And like any business and any business model, they have their roots. And the roots of CrossFit were, get down, get dirty, do grunt work, because that's the proof that it makes the pudding. And whenever my wife and I travel, we'll always try and find a location nearby that we can drop into.
Oh, yeah.
And the cool thing about doing that is it's kind of like going to a theme park. You get to do a different ride and it's a different setting. And I've walked into some of the nicest gyms in the world, and I've been to ones that are, fall back on those sort of grassroots, the really kind of, cruddy, grimy, just environment. And someone who can respect both sides of it, I have fun no matter what.
Right.
But I think that depending on what type of business you're trying to show off, what are your goals as the business owner or as an entrepreneur, and that's the direction you're trying to go. What type of setting are you trying to create, and what type of experience are you trying to create? If it's just out of your garage and you're training the people that are in your cul-de-sac, it's probably not that big of a deal. But if you're, like myself and we're in downtown Bellevue, and there's a certain clientele who we're attracting, then we have a certain message that we have to send out. And so depending on the direction that person is going, You can choose which way you want to, or, what kind of direction you want to go with your business and what type of perception you want to have.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested in sharing with our listeners, like, what kind of people
Yeah.
do you guys, cater to? What
Everyone.
Who comes in the gym? Who's there working out?
Let's talk about it, because I know people, if they don't,
have a
hear
stigma.
the word CrossFit, they're thinking something that probably is not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say just the first thing that came to mind was like, for some reason, the first thing that came to mind was like a really type A person that like loves, I don't know why that came to mind, but just someone that loves like coming in, doing really hard work, and then leaving like a structured, I don't know why that came to mind, but just someone that likes to like come in, work really, really hard for an hour, like a business person, like I only got this much time. I want to get all the work done I can, all the results in this much time, and work out with people and make it fun. I don't know.
I think that's true, but also it's about like the age difference. I mean, an A type A person is like, there's all different. I mean, I go to CrossFit Devotion, so I know about that, but there's like a lot of families. I mean, it's it's in Kent Covington. There's like a lot of husband and wives working out there with little kids. There's a lot of older people. It's such a mixed demographic there of people that work out, right?
Yeah, definitely. And also we have over 50 members that have been there for over 4 years. So it's like people with families that are connected to the community that like to just stay and stick, and like people that are open to like trying new things and then like sticking with it. And you don't get a lot of people that just come in, work out, and leave. They like come in, work out, and hang out.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that, like a big community, people that just like to be in communities, people that like to hang out and talk and go to dinner, and just really people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so being a person that has done both, being the 24-hour LA Fitness type person, and then having done CrossFit at CrossFit Devotion, it's such a different experience. Everybody you're working out with, everybody at the gym, you meet them. You could work out at 24-hour fitness for years and never know a soul, really, because people are it's a different mindset.
Yeah.
I think we both, as owners, see a lot of that. We see people who come in from a lot of different backgrounds, and the misconception for people who have never done it before, that look out from outside of the box, they see a lot of very athletic types and immediately think that they can't do that if they don't fit that mold. And it couldn't be farther from the truth.
Right.
And I know Jake's gym really well, and I'm friends with a lot of the people there. And there are tons of people who are incredibly athletic, and then people who have been doing it for 1 month or 2 months. And you just find your way into the community. And it doesn't matter if you are coming from a background of 24-hour fitness or LA Fitness, and you are searching for something new. And that need and that want to make yourself better has no demographic. There is no difference between that person and the people who are already inside of that gym. They're people who are just looking to try and change something up in their life or make themselves feel better. And there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to walk into a CrossFit gym and find that.
Right. I think that's so true. And I'm just wondering about this because I've experienced this recently where I have a relative and their daughter, she's 16 and she's wanting to start CrossFit, which would be a great fit for her. And they live not by CrossFit Devotion. There's another gym closer to them, but they don't want to take her there because, it's smaller and they've been there, didn't get a great feeling. And so, not all CrossFit gyms are created equal, right? Everyone runs their gym a little bit differently. And maybe they look like a CrossFit gym, but they're actually not a CrossFit gym,
Totally.
right? And so, can you kind of lay out, like, what should you expect a little bit as a person walking into a CrossFit gym who's never been in before? How should you be treated? Like, are the coaches, do they have, like, accreditations? Are they, are you going to have an intro class? Are you just thrown to the wolves? Like, all right, go pick up that barbell. How does it, for someone who's never been in it before? Because I think it's scary at first, right?
Very scary.
Yeah, I would say just from the feedback that we get, the main things about our gym, obviously I've never walked into my gym for the first time, but people that they said instantly I was greeted by everyone. Like everyone was like, hey, good to see you. Like, this is my first time, but thanks. And instantly the coach would go over to them if they didn't recognize them. Very, very welcoming. And if you don't walk into a CrossFit gym and the members don't somehow welcome you. The owner doesn't, run over and welcome you. That would be my first sign of like non-family maybe atmosphere.
Right.
Obviously I can't speak to every opportunity, but yeah, our feedback is, wow, I can't believe how this culture just brings you in. I never want to leave. Just using different language like that, maybe to a different gym that is like, I didn't really get a good vibe. The coach was, drinking coffee while he was coaching. They weren't engaged. Like there's like little things that you can feel when you're in a class, that is really, really important. Just just those little details.
Mm-hmm. I think that you have to know your audience. And when a new person comes into the gym, for the most part, the people who are there, the staff, they can recognize a new face really quickly.
Right.
And communication is huge. You want to go and you want to greet them, and you want to welcome them in, and then learn about who they are. If they walk in the doorway and take a side step to the left or right and have their hands in their pockets and look apprehensive, it's their first time and they're scared. And as an employee or as a coach, as an owner, that person needs to make that quick recognition and go up to them and make them feel like they're in a place that they can be comfortable with, and learn a little bit more about them, ask what their goals are, see what they would be hoping to get out of an experience, and then try to give them exactly that.
And probably make sure you scale the workout to their abilities, right?
Always.
Yeah. So, well, what's coming up, you guys? What's coming up on the horizons? Anything big? Any comps?
You want to talk about what you told me just now?
No.
Ooh, there's a secret.
Okay.
There's a secret.
We got a all men's event coming up in November, the Brovocian Games.
Fun.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's never been an all men's event, so this will be a really fun event. Just to lift some really heavy weight and to do some fun things just with a bunch of dudes. We're gonna do it in November.
So do you have to have a mustache
you
then?
You have to have some sort of mustache-ish thing on your face to participate.
We've got an event this weekend in our Bellevue gym.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fundraiser for all of the families that were victims of what happened in Texas.
Oh,
and
great.
what we've been doing all week is we've had mason jars with our names on them, and members have been coming in all week and making donations to the coach of whoever they want to watch get punished. And for every dollar that's in our jars, we're going to have to do a burpee, which is
Wow.
one repetition of a body weight movement. But
It could be a lot.
yeah, hundreds of dollars in these jars is adding up really quickly. And we'll be doing that, and then partnering with Microsoft, who will double our donation.
Oh,
and
that's fantastic.
we're gonna take all those proceeds and send that to a couple of charities that are working to help some of the families and in the lost in the madness that happened down there.
I love that. I love
That's
that.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. It's gone way too fast, and but it's been awesome having you on. We're excited to,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully people check them out. CrossFit's for everyone. It is.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back from the break, we will be talking with Kyle Diaz with the Ronald McDonald House. To find out more about topics discussed in today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.